The Silver Medallion is our highest recognition of service to the university. It is customary for us to confer the Silver Medallion on an individual who has made significant impact to advance the welfare and reputation of Boise State University. This year, I am honored to present the medallion to a distinguished alumnus, a great friend and true champion of Boise State University, Mr. Milford Terrell. Milford served his community in so many ways. He's the president and owner of DeBest Plumbing Mechanical here in Boise. He has a 30-year volunteer record that is just extraordinary. He served his country as a medical technician in Vietnam. He received a Good Conduct Medal and a presidential citation for service above and beyond the call of duty. In fact, it's clear to all of us who've worked with Milford that he spent the rest of his life working above and beyond the call of duty. Just here at Boise State alone, he served as the president of the Bronco Athletic Association, the chair of the Humanitarian Bowl, a member of the Bronco Athletic Association Coaches Club, a member of the Boise State University Foundation Board, and a member of the Society of 1932. His generosity over the years has had a significant impact on campus life in such areas as athletics, the Alumni Association, and student scholarships, to name a few. But in 2003, Milford really ratcheted up his contribution to the state of Idaho, to education, and to Boise State University. In that year, he accepted the governor's appointment to serve on the Idaho State Board of Education. In doing so, he became an advocate for higher education, specifically for Boise State University, and for that we are eternally grateful. During Milford's days as a member of the Idaho State Board of Education, he served with 7 members who were appointed by the governor. For Boise State to get approval of any of the programs you, the graduates, have worked so hard through, it was imperative for us to get a majority of votes on that Idaho State Board of Education to implement programming here at Boise State. So, for example, the incredible growth in graduate programming we've had here at Boise State really would not have happened without Milford Terrell at the helm as a member of that state board, helping board members who live far away from Boise State, who know Boise State for what it was yesterday, not what it is today and what it can be tomorrow. It was Milford who made that difference over and over again. I cannot thank Milford Terrell enough. My colleagues and I on this stage who have worked with him in board meetings over the last 10 years cannot thank him enough for what he has done, his critical role in moving Boise State University forward to who it is today and what it will become tomorrow. I'd like to thank Milford and his wife, Grace. I know she's here. Milford, Grace, where are you? Can you wave? There she is over there. Grace, thank you so much for all you've done with Milford across this community in every way with all of your charitable contributions. I'm honored now to invite Milford Terrell to join me here and accept the Boise State Silver Medallion. This podium is no stranger to him because for many years prior to your being here, he addressed the graduates as a member of the State Board of Education. Ask them about that experience. They'll tell you they never will forget it. So I'm going to bring Milford Terrell up right now for something you won't forget. Thank you. Milford, come on up here.
Thank you, Dr. Kustra, Kathy. You know, I have a certain tradition that I do, and I have to wait for just a minute because I have to tell you about my first breakfast date with Dr. Kustra. Okay, now I was on the committee that appointed him to go to the State Board of Education for a recommendation to be the president of this university. Do you remember that? I'm not done yet. I then became a member of the State Board of Education, so not only did I get to make a chance to bring him into play as a president of this university, but now I get to vote whether or not I want him to be at Boise State. And I voted to have him come to Boise State, and he invited me to breakfast at the Hillcrest Club, okay? Now, that breakfast didn't go quite as well as we thought it might go. My wife and I were excited to meet them and greet them and welcome them to Boise. And we sat down, Grace and I. It was 9 o'clock as we planned. We had a cup of coffee. We had another cup of coffee. We had another cup of coffee. And my wife says, if I have to have one more cup of coffee, I'm leaving. About 5 minutes later, at 5 minutes till 10, Dr. Kustra and Kathy walk into the restaurant. Everything is just fine. But the people told him, do you realize that this was daylight savings time and you are an hour late? That was my first meeting with Dr. Kustra and Kathy. Today I'm humbled, but first of all, are you guys excited? I can't hear you. I said, are you excited? This is going to be a great day, isn't it? It's usually I stand before you as a state board member, and I usually have a lot of things to say. Today I have very little to say because I'm very humbled by the award that I am to receive this morning. Again, I want to thank my family and Grace, all of you, for all of the time that my grandson, my granddaughter, that they gave me the time to give up, to spend a lot of time on the State Board of Education. The State Board of Education is not an easy place to be because every time you go to a meeting, let me tell you something, you know that when you leave that meeting, somebody's not going to be happy. And it may be one of these guys. I don't ever know. You read about yourself in the newspaper and you hear things you didn't even know. It's interesting. I won't get into the political part of it, okay? But it did take 5 votes. It took 5 votes, Bob. 5 votes. We had to have 5 votes to do anything, and we had to make sure we had those votes. My life started off no different than a lot of your lives. My life started off on Warm Springs Avenue. Those of you that have been on Warm Springs Avenue have seen a big building on Warm Springs Avenue. It's called a children's home. In 1947, I was taken from my home with my siblings, and we were taken and awarded to the state of Idaho. And we lived at the children's home. Had it not been for my brother, my older brothers, and the children's home, there's a very big possibility that I would not be here today because they scraped through garbage cans. They stole milk off of porches on Warm Springs Avenue so that we could eat and have nourishment. So those of you that think because you have a start in life that is not as good as other starts good, you have to understand that you have to reach down by the bootstraps and pull yourself up off the curb and say, I can be bold, and I can do that. Am I right? Don't let anybody ever put you at the bottom of the barrel. You put them at the bottom of the barrel and rise up yourself. I had a lot of dreams when I was a kid. A lot of dreams. I dreamed being governor. I dreamed of being senator, representative. But as I negotiated on the other side, when I was just working with BSU and not with the board in going to those meetings, I told my fellow colleagues on the way home after meeting with the State Board of Education one day, I said, there's one thing that is wrong with what we're doing. We're not on the right side of the table. The right side of the table was being on the board. And I couldn't stand it when I'd come home. We didn't know what decision the board was going to make or what would they do. And then one day my dream came true, and I was put on the State Board of Education, and I loved it because I was the first one from Boise State alumni who was on the board since 1984. Dream. Dream big. Don't dream small. People can tell you that you can be anything you want. And you know you can be. But there are some things that we're just not cut out to be. But dream what you are and what you will be, and you will be a success somewhere along the road. Do you believe that? I grew over those 11 years of being on the board. I grew in a lot of different ways, but I also surrounded me with good people. And a lot of those good people sat on this podium along with me today. The Dr. Kustras, the Matt Freemans, the Stacys, the Kevins, and other people that helped me make good decisions. You need to surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, not put you down. And do you believe that? One person sometimes can make a difference, but not very often. But it takes a coalition to bring about change. And this United States of America right now needs a little bit of change. You believe that? Are you ready to make a difference? Are you ready to be bold? Go Broncos! Boise!